No falling objects.
Except for that one.
Oh no, that's just a hook. I mean,
Yeah, it could have fallen.
yeah, but they didn't find.
All they need is a blunt force object. I mean, if it's a hook, it could literally go up and down. Could have hit him with it, hung it back up. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. We are on episode 2 of, I forgot the name.
Military police arc.
Not the name.
Basically.
Dreams of the Morning, Songs of the Night.
Interesting title, I guess.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that you focused more on the politics of the government part of the episode, and not so much the sorry, I looked up and got distracted by your background again. The flickering images of characters on your screens. On the aspect of the murder and the idea that they might still be getting set up by people for failure.
Yeah, I think it could be opportunistic, right? They were there, the murder happened, and murder has nothing to do with them, but it's like, oh, well, let's see if we can set these guys up for failure, take advantage of it. But if this kid was so important,
he wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, he mentions that he's from a noble family.
They're all from noble family. This is the point.
So
he was 36 down the chart. That's what the beginning of the episode covered us on.
Which is pretty high ranking for a school of a couple of hundred, or maybe a couple of thousand. Yeah.
We don't know.
Oh, what I do know about military schools, and if this also follows a Japanese style of high school schooling, where the top 50 are the ones who get, get put on the board, then yeah.
This follows what I know about schools in the far future in a fictional society.
Yeah, but
based I guess on what seems to be Nazi Germany, then
yeah, but it's I mean, even if you always have those influences, even if you do it subconsciously, right? Because remember, this is primarily made for a Japanese audience, so you always try to ground it in stuff that they would recognize, even though you're trying, it's a fictionalized thing, right? Because that helps. Like,
I mean, what if you're doing it intentionally not to?
Doesn't seem to be.
Yes, because the one thing that I know grounds Japanese people, it's German society.
Not German society, but
you're right, Austrian society.
Hungarian society. I'm talking about rankings in school. That's very important in Japanese society, in high school, and all that. So yeah, how well you do in school is a metric of your success. Now, it's not as individualized as people think. That's why literally every midterm and finals you get these rankings, and you have to get entrance exams to go from grade school to middle school, from middle school to high school, and then high school to college. So being ranked is something that a lot of Japanese are familiar with, right? How high you do, are you good enough to go to this school, that school, right? So, I mean, I know that in America now you have No Child Left Behind as well, so that's become a thing. But
someone's been watching a lot of George Carlin.
Yeah,
I'm also assuming that your expertise in Japanese schooling comes from all the romantic comedies you've been watching.
Among other things, yes.
Plus that 5 years I spent in Japan as an exchange student.
We don't talk about that.
No, it was the exchange student that stayed with you over the summer. That torrid affair that you once had. She taught you everything about the Japanese school system.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound right.
Unfortunately, you fell out of love when she discovered all the dead kids.
But how old was I when this happened? What the hell?
Let's say, what's the typical age of the anime protagonist? 17? You were 17? A detective?
And a detective, yeah.
The Doogie Howser of detectives?
Yeah, I hope so. I was 17. Otherwise, God almighty help me. No, that just went wrong real fast.
I mean, it explains why you're doing anime reactions now. This is what you fell to in the depression you had after they got kicked off the force. And were forced to turn in your badge and your gun.
Yeah. At
17-year-old with a
gun. Yeah.
Oh, man. Sorry, just thinking of it now. Pretty good setup.
Yeah.
I mean, one, we're multinational already. We weren't that before.
No.
Because it's you, and we've got like a kind of like a Hawaii 5-0 thing going. Because, small island, small, and Now you've got the Japanese exchange student helping you out solve mysteries. Except, of course, we know your catchphrase. You want to say it for us?
No.
Sometimes it's a mystery you don't have to solve. Craziest catchphrase for a detective show, but
yeah, sure. Oh boy. Anyway, we do have. Well, we don't have to solve it. The episode might solve it. Actually, I might leave
well,
it.
the point of episodes like this is for you to try to solve it.
Although, considering the fact that they went on an alternative route, I mean, they have this whole spiel about, oh, this person was assigned to this crime, and they found an alternative way to deal with the situation. That might be foreshadowing. Is that yes, they do find out who it is, but they can't go the standard route. They'll have to do some finagling in order to.
I mean, I don't know that it has a lot of crossover, considering the fact that the woman was guilty of stomping on a picture, and whoever's guilty of this is guilty of murder. Oh, sorry, he had a picture of the Kaiser on the back of his head. That's exactly how these things are one for one.
It's stomping on a picture of the Kaiser gets you to be tortured to death. I don't see much difference in at least punishment to outright murder. Oh,
okay,
well, then
the difference here is that one was the defacement of a picture, and the other was a literal murder. You're only focusing on the consequence. I'm focusing on the crime, which is to say, a man is dead versus that picture has footprints on it now.
Yeah, the thing is, once you deliver, once your punishment for essentially a minor crime, something that I wouldn't even consider a crime, but here in this society they do,
so
is
you
murder.
Side with the anti-oil people.
Yeah. Well, I would not torture somebody like that to death.
I don't know. They're kind of annoying. I think a lot of people wouldn't.
If you so any annoyance, you're like, well.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not saying I'm a great person. I am saying that if I had the power, I would abuse it.
So you're saying you're not a great person.
That's what I said. I said I'm not saying I'm a great person.
Yeah. Okay. That's not a double negative, but anyway. Close enough. Anyway.
See, this is what gets you tortured to death in my society.
Yeah, I
Start
guess
pointing out that I have double negatives. One thing, I'm striking double negatives off the book. Have as many negatives as you want. People just have to figure it out.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I think the problem actually that's...
Again, you're focusing on the fact that the punishment for the crime is so bad. But once again, somebody's dead. And you're like, yeah, so what? You're going to get tortured to death anyway. Yeah, you're going to get tortured to death. But one crime has 2 dead people, and the other one is only going to have 1. So this one is still worse.
But I think in a society where you treat all punishment so harsh, that you kind of lose the difference. Like,
have you learned nothing from season 1 Star Trek? TNG. You find out that you've never watched Star Trek.
Well, that's kind of the point where they were going to kill Wesley because he fell into some flowers, and was like, oh, well, we have to execute him.
Yeah,
like,
it's the law.
Yeah, that was bullshit then, and it's bullshit now.
I mean, it was only bullshit because Wesley didn't know the law.
Actually, ironically enough, ignorance of the law...
That only applies here. You keep applying terrestrial knowledge to extraterrestrial situations.
It was bullshit because there was an alien that was basically controlling society and maneuver them.
Not really. I think you're conflating 2 different episodes.
No, literally, that's the episode when they bring the people back to the ship. It's like, oh, that's that alien that's good. Yeah, no, that's the alien that it's guarding us. And because they were gonna take Wesley away, and the alien was like, no, you have to follow the rules, right? And they're like, no, we don't.
That alien, sorry, that god wasn't controlling the society. It was just enforcing it.
Yeah. Anyway, it was,
I'm saying it wasn't telling them what the rules were. It's just when the Enterprise tries to leave, they're like, no, I'm going to enforce the rules here. It just so happened that their law had a really good attorney, as it were.
I mean, And also, it's like nobody trips and falls on flowers, so I guess they just kill people, right?
To be
Oh,
fair, that thing was like off the beaten track and covered. Wesley had to get like a running jump to get back there.
I think he was playing. He was playing with these kids,
No,
and he
he
just tripped and
ran to
fell.
catch a ball and he jumped into
Yeah.
the air to catch it, and the momentum carried him into it. Like I said, he had to get a running jump to get into that thing.
Still, if that never happens, kids are like, "Oh, I threw the ball. Don't
I
go there."
think if you're a responsible parent, you educate your kids on all the "this will kill you" laws.
In a random planet, well,
Well,
again,
one, yeah, it was a random planet, but it was also a random location.
yeah, no, it's a stupid law, basically.
I don't know.
What do you mean? I don't know. You found some flowers. We gotta kill you.
Well, you should have been
That's
there.
all.
You fucking know the rule is don't step on the flowers or you'll die. I think you don't step on the flowers.
The flowers are now more important than a human life or an alien life in this case.
It's not
It's
about
like
what's more important. It's more.
it is if you're willing to kill over flowers.
Well, no, it's about the law. It's not about the flowers. The flowers are just a
Yeah,
representation of the law.
the law is putting these two things at equal. No, actually, the
No,
law
it's
is putting
again.
the flowers above the
It's
life of
not
someone.
actually. It's the
It is.
flowers are representative of the law. It's saying the law is more important than human life.
Yes, because the laws are written in such a way
You
that
remember a
human
couple
life.
like weeks ago when I'm having this discussion with you, when I'm literally saying that the law is a human construct and we can
Yeah.
decide what's more important, and you're like, "Fuck no, law is required for human civilization to exist." And blah blah blah. My side of the argument right now is what you had a couple weeks ago.
No, it isn't, because if it is a human construct, the thing is that
It
there's a
is a
lot of
human
stuff in
construct
alien.
because the animal kingdom doesn't have law.
It is. Here's the thing, though, and I said that back then, so being contrarian here for the sake of being contrarian. The law overall exists for a reason. That doesn't mean that you should um, create laws that, ironically enough, contravene that reason, which is, oh, we're going to murder anybody who just steps in some flowers, right? The idea of such harsh punishment basically saying these flowers are as important or more important than human life itself. And we're going to stick to this law because we're so afraid of breaking it that it will destroy our society, right? That's what's going
I
on
mean, I
here.
think I'd argue it's more about creating a society that every law is obeyed. Thus, every punishment is required to be draconian in nature.
I mean, the thing is that only works ultimately. That's not going to work because you're going to kill people unnecessarily. You're going to actually attack. You're maintaining this is not this is not a society that is sustainable because will be destroyed by its own fear eventually. Somebody's going to rebel. And when somebody realizes, oh, I don't give a fuck about these flowers, and people are like, yeah, we're being murdered because of goddamn flowers or whatever, that's when the society is going to fall apart.
I think you're just harping on the flowers too much. The
It's an
flowers
example.
are just one example, and like obviously to you, the stupidest example. But the flowers are just representational. It didn't have to be the flowers. The same crime for murder, same crime for theft. Same crime for robbery, same crime for assault. Sorry, crime. Same punishment, rather.
Yeah. One punishment should fit the crime, if at all. In fact, I think in many cases, I don't want to get into the whole carceral state thing because that's a whole rabbit hole that I want to get into. But suffice it to say that laws, a legal structure is important in society, but because of that very importance, one should be very careful in how it is implemented and used.
I very much
And
wish that Griffin was still around with us because he's an anarchist, right?
he would say that it doesn't matter whatsoever, and people, he has a Rousseau type view of humanity.
I just remember we would get into these similar kind of debates where I was actually more mental about it. Not mental, like crazy. I just meant more present into the argument during Tokyo 24th Ward, which really had a whole police state versus free rights argument behind it.
Yeah.
And of course, how he's also fuck the police mentality. alongside his anarchist views. So I'm just saying he's probably the better debater for this situation than I am. I guess there's also an element of that I prefer order over chaos.
I mean, I think the issue is that it's not that clear cut.
Oh, nothing's ever clear cut. That's why we're working in an anime world and not like using real world, setting real world case files.
I prefer freedom over tyranny.
Okay, yeah, you're the Griffin thing then. Yeah. I would prefer the loss of freedom and to have safety and, you know, for those in the audience, 2 hours of sleep. My brain knows the thoughts it wants to say. It just doesn't know the words to get me there.
My answer to that is always the old Roman proverb, who watches the watchman, right?
And I always say, fuck Rome. No, sorry, that was your phrase, actually. Last episode. Or this morning. Sometime this morning you said that.
Yes.
No, one, I hate people who quote stuff. I hate you, Lessons. I fucking hate you. 2 last episodes benefit, remember? Don't honor your ancestors. God, my brain is not working with me today. What were they talking about? The whole don't stand on your
ancestors' performance, I guess, or your laurels, or
don't.
Genetics.
If all you do is brag about what the people in your family's history have done, then what are you bragging about yourself?
Nothing.
Right. I don't know how that applies anymore. I started somewhere and got nowhere.
Anyway, this episode.
I'm not an anarchist.
Oh.
Sorry, no, my brain just keeps thinking anarchy in the UK because I keep thinking about V for Vendetta, and I don't know why. Let's go into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I don't know. I guess I want a world of ants.
Didn't the ants rebel against the grasshoppers?
I don't know what story you're talking about.
Bug's Life.
No. I don't know. I guess the 2 movies came out in the same year.
Yeah.
Basically the same.
And the other ants rebelled against the military dictatorship.
Well, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
In this fictional world where ants can talk and think.
Yeah.
And aren't based on primarily, I guess, olfactory senses.
Yes. And vibrations.
And dancing.
Yeah. That's our bees, actually.
I
don't know, ants dance.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm not saying that the ants don't. I don't know
if they do or not. When you said bees, I remembered, it's bees, because it's what I'm thinking of in my head. I just shrunk it down to an ant size. Yeah, but no, I mean, just want a strictly ordered society where everyone has their own rules and they do exactly what they're told. Because that's so much to ask.
Yeah. Not if you're the one setting up the rules.
Exactly. I'm glad we're on the same page.
No, we're not.
I'm going to
take that book and toss it in the fire. I'm the one holding the book going like, fuck that noise, and tossing into the fire.
It's exactly as they say. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes.
That's where I'm at.
So,
Oh, time for a recap.
Clip show. Yeah.
I thought this would be a clip show. I think we're just recapping here at the beginning. That's not what they did. I don't remember.
Yeah, they ambushed the last tank. Literally, this is the images from that. Yeah.
I don't remember that. I remember the dumping not nitro. What was it?
That's what happened to the other guys when they.
See, they say don't watch it in chronological order, but if we hadn't, these recaps wouldn't make any sense. I don't remember that though.
That's the destroyer engaging the cruiser in that battle.
Yeah, but remember that was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which wasn't in that style.
Well, they did recap it here, I guess.
Also, these are not like in any order.
This is him graduating.
Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy whose name I can't remember. Also, they jumped to light speed. I don't remember that happening. I feel like this should have been the thing that started the last episode.
The murder? The
Well, because it's just catching us up to what?
What's this? I don't remember
That
this.
was in the
Oh, this
movie.
is from the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense if you don't remember what what happened in the movie. So we kept flashing to that Burt Reynolds, laying on the thing pose.
The hell? Is that a alarm clock or something? Somebody shouting, "Awake, awake, awake, wake up, wake
Well,
up,
it's a
wake
military
up."
academy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're just lucky they didn't get a trumpet.
Yeah. We get
I dreamed a dream of days gone by.
敵の基地もやっつけたし、駆逐艦で巡航艦を撃破したりもした。死にそうな目にも何度もあったが、その都度俺たち二人で力を合わせて切り抜けてきた。
I guess this is the faffing off episode.
Yeah.
Because literally, just the last episode, we covered the fact that we always win and we never lose. Now we're starting with the fact that we've always won and we've never
Yeah.
lost. I'm investigating murder. Oh, insert cheesy 80s comedy soundtrack. Waking up. Like,
between about 200 students there, give or take.
I don't know, your original estimate of 1,000 seems way off.
Racing of the flag.
All hail the winged vagina.
Apparently. Well, they're so hung up on genetics, I guess that would fit.
I don't know, though. It's patriarchy, so.
部外者を校内に立ち入らせるのは好ましくないのだが、ことは重大かつ凶悪である。傷つけられた名誉を回復するためには、公明正大に事件を解明し、不幸な生徒の霊を休んじるほかにない。捜査官として、また本校の先輩として、ケイラの努力を。
See, if they were actually guilty of something, I don't think they'd be pushing for the crime to be solved. They'd be pushing it under the carpet.
帝国軍の礎石たる幼年学校で殺人を犯すなど。
Yeah, that's clearly
Lies,
what it is.
Yeah. Well, they would reach it.
共和主義者どもは時空を超える能力を有しているのかもしれ
It
ま
was
せん。
Birdman.
次は軍務省あたりを狙うかもしれません。共和主義者などというより、例えば幼年学校の運営に不正があり、それを知ったために害されたというようなことは考えられないでしょうか。例えです。あくまで例えです。
I mean, I was gonna say that the figure of the guy behind him that clubbed him to death seemed like an adult.
考え方が素直でなくなってしまいますもので。
経緯が必要と思うなら、当校の経理を調査してみるとよい。何も不審な点など出てきはすまいがな。
いえ、それには及ばないと存じます。
Only nerds read books.
Don't hesitate. Read it. I want to make sure that everything's clear.
After you've done that, make sure a computer voice reads it back to you anyway.
Yeah.
Then go talk to the person at their house. And then talk to the daughter about what the dad just said. Sorry, granddaughter.
殺人とは公表されていないはずではありませんか。
噂とは光よりも早く、分子より小さきものでな。
I mean, light is both a particle and a wave, so.
Yeah, but he's saying it's smaller than a particle.
とは言っても、むやみに生徒から事情を聴取するのは困る。誰か信頼できる生徒を協力させよう。
Oh.
And I'm at least 50% sure they won't be a murderer.
諸君は勉学に対する変わらぬ努力を傾注することを期待するものである。
Guess who they choose to help them?
The old man who never graduated.
Well, yeah. The space rats.
I mean, it was there during the murder. Technically, it is an eyewitness. Ace Ventura, that's who we need.
No falling objects.
Except for that one.
Oh, no, that's just a hook. I mean...
Yeah, it could have fallen.
Yeah, but they didn't find...
All they need is a blunt force object. I mean, if it's a hook, it could literally go up and down. Could have hit him with it, hung it back up.
今さら物証など残っているはずもないか。
そうですね。状況は先に派遣された憲兵隊の調書をご覧になった方が。
そうだな。
You're not investigating how he got in the first one?
There was two big old barn door things up top.
Yeah, but is it a ladder or something like that?
何十年も前に事故死した生徒の霊が仲間を欲しがっているとか。
Now we go into ghost stories. And cultists.
貴重なご意見をありがとう。
Who didn't give us any information whatsoever other than
he did open and close the door.
Yeah, but that's about it. They could have given the keys.
ああもううやうやしくされるとこっちの方が来る。在校中は叱られたりもしたものだがな。
全くです。しかし、たたりときましたか。
学校には階段がつきものだ。
It's funny that you went here, but you have to be told about the curse.
Yeah.
キルヒアイスも階段は苦手だろう。
暗闇を怖がって毛布で作った要塞にこもっていらしたのは
You can't make a fortress at well, I guess you could.
二人で一緒にな。
You just hang it from the
いずれに
things.
しても子供の頃のことだ。今回の犯罪を暗闇に潜む怪物の仕業にするわけにはいかない。
Yeah, you can. People
Yeah,
can be
literally.
monsters and they can hide in the dark.
片付けてしまおうとする校長のメンタリティも似たようなものかもしれませんね。
キルヒアイスらしくもなく辛辣なことを言う。だが全くだ。共和主義者にこんなことがしてのけられるなら、ノイエ算数史に忍び込んで皇帝の寝首でも書いているさ。
The new South Sea, so that must be the palace, I guess?
I'd assume so.
ちゃんと時と場所を選んでいるさ。さっきも
Here's what Lisa would say. Say things like that in public.
Again, if they wanted to investigate, they should have checked the perimeter and all that.
Well, they're going to check the MP's notes, and the MPs would have taken notes about what they saw in the area. The idea being it's been too long, there's no evidence left.
Yes,
Nice
there wouldn't
floor.
be a student waiting on the bushes or something.
Which we've mathed out for you on the blackboard. Nice hat, bro.
老朽化が進んでいるな。 建物だけでなく人も校風も
何かを生み出すのではなく、
That's what
規
people
則や
do.
習慣の牧種のみが重んじられ、古いことが正しいことのように思い込ませる。そんな教
I
育
think
が
that's the whole aspect of the empire was built on that idea alone.
変化を求める者
I mean, reviving an empire and all that in an Austro-Hungarian format. Yeah.
You mean rewriting a federation? Also, I'm pretty sure the empire is built on the Kaiser is always right.
この図書館も
Yeah, I know.
ませんね。
Well, you were saying it was built on tradition.
I mean, the architecture and all that is based on what, 17th, 18th century Earth, maybe 19th century, depending how you measure it, right? So,
No, I think it's clearly based on the neo-German Renaissance of the 2300s. It's fucking space in a fictional world.
yes, but they're deliberately invoking these things. There's a reason for that. Art is
I
always
would
a
agree with
reflection of
you if
reality.
this was like the first couple of episodes, but you're invoking there's a reason for that. Like 70 episodes in on the... Yes, I understand, it's fucking German. Like, I'd get more of a point if you were, like, invoking, like, something from, like, pre-World War I Germany that caused the Kaiser's rise to power and invoked World War I. But you're talking about the pillars now. I think we're losing topics of interest. Maybe it's just I have no care about architecture.
I do.
Well, we all can't be Renaissance men like you, Lessons.
Ah, the old game of soccer.
The old game of staying still in a square.
Did he kick the ball to himself?
Nope, we just lost an animation budget.
Yeah. That's a very big tree.
ちょうどいい。あそこで資料を見よう。被害者の成績はどの程度だ？
学年で10位から50位までを上下していますね。
優秀と言っていいが、傑出しているというほどではないといったところか。
Excellent, but not outstanding. I think making him an excellent student would make him outstanding.
なぜ食料倉庫などに出かけたのでしょう。
そもそも生徒が夜間寮を勝手に抜け出したというのが。
It's like the element of the fact that they haven't like figured out where he was beforehand or retrace his steps or anything. They don't have like a record of people saying where they last saw him or anything like that.
軍旗に敬礼する時の足を開く角度とか、下着の色は白に限るとか、守るのがバカバカしくなって、ついには肝心の守るべき最低のルールまで軽視されるようになる。
で、ライフアイゼンが寮を抜け出したのはありがちなこととして、食料倉庫に忍び込んだ理由はやはり盗み食いでしょうか。
Way to go, goalie. They kicked it right back into your own side.
こぼしていたようですし。
その不満は理解できるな。昨べ久しぶりに寮の食事を口にしたが、分量はともかく味は貧弱を極める。その点も我々の在校当時と変わらんが、こればかりは郷愁を呼ぶという。
Remember when we were on an ice planet and we were like fighting for our lives from freezing to death and Alliance soldiers?
Yeah.
God, our life has gotten boring. What the fuck are we talking about?
美食を求め味に不満を漏らすなど惰弱の極みである。
似てる似てる、散々聞かされたものだ。だが上に立つ者が下の者に質素倹約を強要するとき、自らがそれを遵守する例などほとんどない。
We already covered that two arcs ago, actually, when they were in charge of shipping and receiving. I don't remember what it was called.
晩年は痛風に悩まされたという。先の校長も校長室のキャビネットに高級ワインとキャビアを隠して常備していた。
今のシュテーガー校長はどうでしょう。
さあな、在校中に
He's on the verge of retirement.
俺自身不当に扱われた記憶はない。珍しいことにな。
ええ。
話を戻すが、盗み食いといってもあそこは原材料の倉庫だからな。
You don't remember, like, in the Duelist, the beginning of the Duelist arc, where they were covering the fact that food was being stolen at the ports.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Literally, I think we're just circling back around to that. I'm the guy who told him that food was being stolen on the black market.
ああ、ご苦労様。座ってくれ。
いえ、大佐殿の前で座ることなどできません。どうぞ、このままご質問願います。
では、早速だが、死んだライフアイゼンの評判はどうだった？
よくわかりません。
特に誰かと仲が悪かったとか、そういうことはないか？
さあ、
What, is it the guy who killed that guy is also the guy who killed this guy?
では逆に彼と仲の良かったものは？
私です。
そう。それなら君の目から見て。
Oh, never mind. I'm mistaking that for the person from the past, the ghost story. I got the names mixed up.
平然としていたか、それとも気に病んでいたか、そういったことだが。
そういえば気にする方でした。
多発傾向があったかな。
Which is not true because the conversation they were having was like, oh, I want to do better.
他人のせいにすることがあっただろうか。
ええ、そんなところも確かにあったようです。
友人だというのにあまりかばい立てしないんだね。
率直にお答えすることが捜査に協力することになると思いますので。
You're lying. I already know that you're lying.
自分が知っていることや信じていることより相手が望んでいることを語ろうとしているように思えるな。
え？
どちらが得点したんだ？
黄色でない方です。
Yeah, hard to tell.
Yeah.
ご苦労。
Not the red team.
Remember genetics?
Well, maybe remember genetics. I don't. What's the reference to it? Like he said, not the yellow team.
Yeah. What do you think I'm referring to? I'm not confused by your confusion.
I don't know where that came from.
We had a whole thing about covering the whole genetics and not suffering the weak, and anyone who has bad genes is going to get.
Yeah.
Dude has a visual impairment.
Ah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he can't. You know, I'm assuming they're going to read colorblindness as a thing. We've already covered with the whole flower discussion that there is no line in the sand here. It's all or nothing. If you're all or nothing about the laws about death, I think you're probably going to be all or nothing on the whole genetics thing too.
I mean, they were willing to kill the entire family. The secret about the princess and all was a genetic defect. So.
Well, yeah,
The last,
and also
last arc.
what's the emergency? It's a non-yellow alert.
まず犯人の動機を考えてみよう。と言っても結局のところ動機は単一のものに集約される。わかるだろう、キルヒアイス。
I'm gonna need you to cut the non-yellow wire.
戦争と同じだな。現れ方の違いで積極的に勝利を得るか、引いて現状を守り損失を食い止めるか。攻撃的動機と防衛的動機とに分かれる。
They pulled the data maneuver.
それにも
Play only to not
復
lose.
讐的動機というやつを考えてみる必要があるかもしれない。広い意味での防衛的動機に含まれるが。
So you think he knew about the eye problem, and that's why he was trying to get him killed?
Maybe.
Motive.
Or he suspected it.
I mean, anyway, it's motive.
I have to go back to what they were talking about, the food. Maybe there's a clue there. You know, when he sat down, because that's the only conversation they had. He sat down,
He
they were
was
talking
talking
about the
about
food.
the fact that they were black marketers selling the food.
No, but they made a comment about the food, and he responded by saying, "Oh, I think there's black. I heard a rumor about black marketers and all that."
Yeah. That's what
Maybe
he said.
something that he said about the food, which I don't recall exactly what he said, might have been. It's like, oh, he noticed that I was colorblind. It's the only conversation they had that would lead him to give him the rumor.
Well, no,
And get him killed.
they had one previous conversation that we saw. Well, sort of. when they were looking at the scores and they tried to talk to him and he walks off.
It was like, yeah.
There could have been something there. I mean, was the scores in yellow?
No, they were, I think, blue or black. So
on a yellow background?
White background.
Yeah, trying.
Yeah, no, so I wouldn't do it. I don't think it would.
I mean, they're a friend group as far as we know, though, so could have been anything.
Yeah.
Also, if that was the case, he's not very good at keeping it hidden. So non-yellow shirts, I think, won.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have just said, those guys close to us, or, something. You didn't have to say a color thing if the eyesight was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Or be a lot very general. They did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's it.
Yeah. But then, okay, even if he has color blindness and he was afraid to be discovered, we don't have, unless they were talking about either the food or the thing.
We've got motive. We've got, well.
Yeah, no, the problem, we don't have motive.
They don't, but we have the conversation that leads him to the warehouse.
Yes. The question is, what triggered that conversation? So we don't have motive yet.
I think we do have motive. We have motive. They don't have motive.
No. We don't have motive because we don't have the reason for him. If it's about color blindness, we don't have the reason why he would suspect that the other guy knew about his color blindness. We don't have that piece of evidence to give back up to the motive. Yeah, he might be willing to kill anybody who figured out that he was colorblind, right? But that doesn't mean that he knew about or suspected that the other guy knew about his colorblindness.
続いてもう一つの葬儀に参列することになる。ラインハルトの父の死。その考えに浸る間もなく、ラインハルトの留守を狙うかのように第二の殺人が発生した。次回銀河英雄伝説外伝朝の夢夜の歌第3話。銀河には未だ語り尽くせぬ
I'm confused. Was that Grunwald or the Ashby's granddaughter?
I don't know.
Because they both kind of look the same in my head.
That's Anne Rose. That's Anne Rose.
That's what I just said. You remember that Anne Rose's last name is Grunwald, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just said, is that Grunwald or Bruce Ashby's daughter? And you're acting like I didn't say either of those people.
No, that's Reinhard's sister.
Yes, again, you understand that Grunwald is Anne Rose's last name.
Yes.
Yeah, so when I said, is that Grunwald or... Sorry, your reaction was as though I didn't say it was Anne Rose at all.
Yeah, but you mentioned Bruce Ashby. Why does Bruce Ashby have to do with anything?
Because his granddaughter looks exactly the same, and we've seen her in funeral attire before.
Yeah, but it's not her.
Yes, thank you. I already know that. We've had a... You could... I don't know. It's just the way you said that is so... made this a longer conversation.
Like, you brought somebody in. I was like, why would they even be this person?
Probably because during the same thing I said, they look exactly alike. And now you're like, why are you even bringing up? Why do you think I mentioned they look exactly the same? You do know why we do like a police lineup, right? To try and identify people that look the same. Are you sure it was this person or not somebody who looked like this person? I'm saying this woman, who we've seen before in funeral attire, looks exactly like Grunwald does right now. So I'm confused for having a visual identification on a person who looks exactly the same as another person.
Yeah, I guess it's basically same face fit syndrome in animation.
I've said many times before, I have face blindness in these shows if they don't give me things that make people look different.
I mean, it's a phenomenon of, like I said, same face animation, right? You cut the budget by using the same facial features, etc.
Well, typically it's with Gundam shows when they put the helmets on and they've got all the same faces, and now they just got a helmet blocking the hair, which tends to be the thing that makes them look different. Now, it's funny, though, we bring up this whole motive and whatnot thing. I was responding to a video the other day, which was literally a tier list of detectives who would be able to solve. You've watched Death Note before?
No.
You're familiar with the concept of Death Note?
Yes, vaguely.
This guy has a notepad that he can write a personal
and he
name
writes
out.
on it, and whoever he writes on dies. Yes.
Yeah, so just making sure. You said vaguely, so I'm just making sure. And they did a whole tier list of which detectives would be able to solve the crime, but they also had tiers for would be able to figure out the method, but not who's doing it, or vice versa, would be able to figure out how it's done, but not. Sorry, would be able to figure out who's doing it, but not how it's done. And I was like, that's dumb. Because if you could figure out who's doing it, or I forget my exact terms here, but one of these is a bad detective. Because it's basically me just saying, I think it's the butler. Because if you don't have the means or motive, you're just guessing. So, doesn't matter if they figured out, oh, that guy is the guy running the death note. If you don't know how it's done, you're blaming a guy for a heart attack, right?
For just being there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's dumb. It's a bad detective. You might put it down. Everybody on this tier is a bad detective. That's not how they were making the list. They're like, oh, I think this guy's pretty good, but I don't think he's amazing. So I'm going to say he'd figure out who did it, but not how. It's like, if you don't figure out how, then you're not a good detective.
They would have to be suspicious of them, but I don't think they would figure it out.
Well, it would be like you with Durandal, right? Most of your suspicion is he grins all the time.
I mean, he's done more than that.
If
right?
No, technically, he hasn't done jack shit other than like giving people.
Oh, the whole fake Lacus thing. That's pretty big.
Okay, sorry, I was going towards the getting everybody off of their crimes from the last war. Well, I mean, depends. Depends if you're blaming him for the assassination to keep fake Lacus under wraps, which we don't know if actually that was him. All we know is that he hired somebody to look like Lacus.
For the purpose of replacing her, so he can control the people that way, because apparently either Lacus wasn't willing to go with it, or
I'm assuming he has
care.
absolutely no contact with actual Lacus.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, again, so what? I don't think it's evil to hire a lookalike. I can do that right now on Cameo. I mean, it's not evil.
But for the purpose of political control, it's pretty dicey.
Yeah, I mean, it's negligible to me. I mean, literally, real Lacus is out and about. So, I think if you cared enough, you could figure it out. And again, we can't put our finger on if he is responsible for the assassination attempt yet or not.
I mean, it adds more fuel to the fire, but yeah, the whole thing, like I was saying.
Again, there's no proof. That's my point. There's no proof of it.
And the whole manipulating Athrun into coming back and getting him the savior, that's also questionable as well.
I don't think that's manipulation. He's literal. There is an element there where I don't know if you can call it manipulation or not. Well, I guess everything is manipulation. That is like the sorry, I just recently watched the Babylon 5 interrogation episode where the interrogator is like, are you saying you're not influenced by other people? Everybody's influenced by other people. It's like, I don't know if you can call him manipulating Athrun, but then again, if you want to get real technical, then everyone's manipulating everyone. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, he's very good at it. That's the thing. If you're good at gaslighting people, he actually doesn't lie to him. So
I mean, he could be inspiring Athrun. It's all about how you look at it, right? Because he's talking about, oh, your dad was this, and you're not your dad, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, I guess the only difference here is motivation, right? If whatever his motivation is, if it goes against Athrun's interests, then it's manipulation. If it's for the interests of everybody, himself and Athrun's included, then it's inspiration. It's like, we don't have a finger on the pulse of what's going on just yet to be able to know. So
either way, I wouldn't say he's done anything. I'm saying he's suspect, which is different. Now, if you have, like, going back to the whole detective thing, a detective that pins Light, I think is it? Yeah, name is Light.
See, the problem is I know there's L and there's Light, and I think there's two different people.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which one is the one with the death note.
Yeah,
I
whoever
haven't
it is.
watched it myself.
I think Light Yagami. I'm not
Light
sure.
Yagami is one of them, and L is the other one. I think L might be the detective.
Anyway, if they feel like, oh, that person is a suspect, that's one thing. But there's a gap between a suspect and, oh, he did it, right? That's the whole investigative process. So it's like that with me and Durandal. I suspect him, but I don't have enough to say.
Every time he grins, you go like you actually jump out of your chair because that's what I'm saying. I forgot where we got here.
How about how I guess it's how Musil, not his name, solves everything. Well, if they're gonna solve anything at all.
I don't think so.
Because we talk about color blindness and how
yeah, no, I mean the element of how you said how Musil solves everything. I don't think we were even having a conversation about how
not specifically, but
yeah.
you jumped into what would it take to because I was talking about.
No, I mean you were talking about the element of we don't know if the other guy knew if he was colorblind or not, so we can't use that as evidence.
Yeah, we don't know. We have the suspect. We suspect him, but we don't know if he.
Here's the problem. I'll write it off as a crime of passion and call it a day. Here's the thing. We don't know that he even knew if that guy thought he was colorblind. He may have suspected that guy thought he was colorblind, but he might not have, but he killed him anyway. So, if that's the case, then we'll never figure out if he thought or knew the other guy was colorblind.
Or it could be as simple as nearsighted or farsighted.
I don't think so. I don't think you do that for. Look, I believe you're wearing glasses. I should be wearing glasses. I believe we both understand nearsighted, farsighted. I never have a problem picking out colors. Well, depending on how far away, I typically don't have a problem picking out colors.
I mean, the translation is not the not the yellow, so that's a pretty big.
Yeah, and they weren't that far away. Literally, they were in fact closer than the yellow guys were.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that was it. I mean, depending. I mean, he could be farsighted, but that'd be very fucking up farsight too. Mm-hmm. Still be able to see the guys. I mean, still, you should see their colors.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking about I'm only talking about because you brought it up. We're talking about so bad nearsighted or farsighted that he shouldn't be able to read the chalkboard in class.
But that might be why he was so far back. Well, everybody was. I mean, these are huge screens anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think it's clearly got to be the color blindness. Yeah, because again, the framing of the words, and then I don't understand why he would say stuff like that if he was worried about this.
Yeah. Either way, that's all I have to say, really, because I'm getting more confused by the moment. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we only have the 1 point to work with here.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you've picked up on another lead that you think it could be.
No, not at the moment.
Because, I mean, this was my thing, obviously, because I had to spell it out to you in the episode. Because you're like, what do you mean? Genetics.
Yeah.
Well, because we spent so much time talking about the fact that they're in the whole eugenics thing.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on the color blindness. Once you said color blindness, like, okay, that makes sense.
Yes, why would you say? Well, no, because you were also mocking the fact you said not yellow.
Yeah.
So you weren't making the jump from the fact he said not yellow to the fact that they spent 5 minutes talking to us about the fact that the Empire practices, this very thing. Sorry, obviously I'm trying to not make allusions to one thing, so that's why I keep saying Spartan, because, well, the movie 300, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So there you have it.
All right, well, I guess that's it for that episode. So once again, I have been Theta, this has been Lessons, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?